Grace and peace to you. We continue our study in Revelation. We're in Revelation chapter 15, starting in verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. Filled with the wrath of God, that is, the physical judgments of Revelation will be completed in the pouring out of the contents of these containers. He calls it great, referring specifically to it being all-encompassing, so massive, wide-scale. The entire globe will feel the presence of these plagues in question. All of them will happen relatively close to each other. Simply stated, these judgments are severe and rapid fire in their succession. Verse 2 of the text. And I saw, as it were, a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. We're introduced again to a sea of glass in front of the throne of God. We saw this first in Revelation chapter 4 and verse 6. This body of water was calm at that time in chapter 4. The judgments of God had not yet started. The sea now, however, has fire on it. Fire has been associated repeatedly with the judgment of God. Revelation chapter 1, verses 14 and 15 as evidence. The sea also now has occupants on it. They have harps, and they are the ones who have victory. These are those who died during the judgments of Revelation and all subsequent events covered so far in Revelation. These persons have died in faith. They have overcome by faith, their faith in God. It allows them to overcome the world and its influence. 1 John 4:4. Verse 3 of the text. And they sang the song of Moses, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb, saying, Great and marvelous are thy works, Lord God Almighty. Just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Those introduced to us in front of God's throne sing a song of praise. They praise the work of the Lamb, his redemption of the believer, and this has occurred many times in Revelation. Revelation 5 verse 9 as an example. The choice to refer to the Song of Moses would point to Exodus chapter 15 and verse 1. Some context. God had just saved his people from Pharaoh and Pharaoh's army, and so a song in Israel was written about that event. The message of both, however, comes down to one central word: deliverance. These saints have gone through the struggles and tribulations, and now they are home. They are safe with the King of Kings. Verse 4 of the text. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy, for all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. They speak of the nations glorifying God, of fearing his name. In Philippians chapter 2, verses 10 through 11, it says that every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus is Lord. One will someday acknowledge Jesus as the supreme power. The question is not if, but when. Will it be now, accepting God in faith, or will it be waiting until the time of the judgment? For then it will be too late. Judgment will be rendered to each person according to how they lived, good and bad. It all boils down to faith in God, or its absence. Verse 5 of the text. And after that I looked, and beheld, the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony in heaven was opened. Yet another reference to God's temple in heaven. Revelation 7:15 is another example. The door to this temple is opened, and the next verse explains to us what is happening. Verse 6. The 7 angels came out of the temple, having the 7 plagues, clothed in pure and white linen, and having their breasts girded with golden girdles. These are the angels introduced to us in Revelation 15, verse 1. They are pictured here again, but with more details. The text tells us that their heavenly garments have gold banded about the chest. This is typical of heavenly messengers. Daniel 10:5. Verse 7 of the text. And one of the four beasts gave unto the seven angels 7 golden vials full of the wrath of God, who liveth forever and ever. The term here, beast, refers to a living being in the Old King James. The 4 angels in question are a reference to the beings that we studied in detail in Revelation chapter 4 and verse 6. That being said, they are here again and are providing these 7 angels with the 7 judgments. These are the bowls full of God's judgment for earth. They are the completion, the finality of the judgments for Revelation. Everything in creation has a beginning, but not God. Verse 8. And the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God, and from his power, and no man was able to enter into the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were fulfilled. God's temple becomes inaccessible at this time. Smoke is sometimes associated with the presence of God. Exodus 19:18. The raw power of God on display is more than any mortal or heavenly being can handle, so the temple is inaccessible for a time. This also happened in 2 Chronicles chapter 5 and verse 14. Only on certain occasions does God put a greater level of his power on display, and nothing can tolerate its presence when he does. Revelation 20 verse 11. It says things in heaven will remain as they are until the judgment of God be fulfilled. That is the end of our text for now. That completes chapter 15. We will continue our study of Revelation starting in chapter 16 next time. In the meantime, I thank you for watching. I pray that the Lord bless you and keep you. And until next time, God bless.